Yes, like us with Brian, here we are. And so I have some great stuff to cover today. And that marketing text I've been talking about. So I've mentioned this several times. This is the text that I want you to send out to everybody on your phone to look for referral business. Now, it's not like everybody on your phone. In fact, most of the people on your phone are obviously not related to real estate, not in the real estate business. But I want you to be able to reach out to everybody, and a lot of people know people going through situations. And especially now, some people are not even listing their house because they know the market's kind of slow, but they would like to sell. So if somebody, said, "Hey, I know somebody's looking to buy, maybe you should talk to this person." Maybe you never know what can happen. So this is a text that you can send out. It's a pretty universal text to essentially anybody. It can be a professional contact or a personal contact. However, I want you to have a few things in place before you do this. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about having your infrastructure, because once you send this text out, people are going to start potentially sending you leads. And these leads want to know you're for real and, whatever. So it would be nice to have a few things in place like your website. Okay, now a website's usually not too hard to get up. I mean, you can get one on GoDaddy for pretty cheap, or there's all kind of different templates that you can get for a real estate investing website from a lot of different sources. Now, we do use a computer program called RealFlow, and that has website templates in it. And so if you have a program like that, you can get a website sometimes off there. But there's a lot of different ways to have a website. I think it's just good because that way, if somebody's referring somebody to you, they say, "Well, who is this person again that you're sending me to?" Oh, well, here's their website. Okay. And so it just gives them, or even when they're just referring you and giving your phone number to somebody, they can say, "Hey, plus here's their website." And your website, it's like it's not your Facebook page, so it doesn't have to have a whole bunch of postings and a bunch of followers. It doesn't require maintenance in that way. So you can pretty much send anybody your website anytime. And if it looks relatively professional, that establishes your credibility pretty well. So I want you to, get some kind of a website up. It's sort of the difference between, is this a legit business? Is this person serious? Or is this, not a serious business? And so having a website is important. Some kind of a website up that you can get on GoDaddy for cheap if that's, however you do that. Okay, next is I want you to have your, have a good phone. I mean, obviously people have to be able to call you. You gotta have a phone. This is called, what's your incoming call capture? How are you taking calls? So that's, sometimes people use an answering machine. Sometimes they use a virtual assistant, or not a virtual, like an answering service or whatever. But and sometimes people use their own personal cell phone. I think they're at least probably use some kind of a phone service a lot of times. You can use, if you put your own personal cell phone on your business cards and everything, that just tangles up your business with your personal life so much. So I would recommend at least having a different phone number, like using CallRail or some kind of a calling service, that they can call on that phone, and it'll ring different on your phone. Okay, some of our students actually have two different phones, a phone for their business and a phone. It's kind of a hassle because you have to carry two phones around, but it depends on how much, but that way you can give the phone to an assistant or anybody else and they can be available for calls. So it sort of depends on what you're doing with the business, but you got to have some way to take calls. Yeah, I want you to have business cards. That seems like a simple one, but you need a good business card. People are going to be calling you, I want you to give people your business card. So when you send them this text out, if you see this person on a regular basis, give them some business cards the next time you see them. "Hey, did you get my text I sent you yesterday or the other day about looking for people who are looking to maybe buy or sell a house? Hey, here's some cards. If you ever bump into anybody, you can give them one of my cards." And remember, on the bottom on your card, it should be pretty clearly displayed that you pay $1,000 if they send you somebody you help. And that's the line we say on the card. We pay you $1,000 if you send us someone we help. Okay. And so that's, that's a line on the card. I had one of our students actually get really into this and make up a card with $1,000 bill on it. And there is actually $1,000 bill, and he would pass that out and would just say, this $1,000 can be yours if you send me somebody who's looking to buy or sell a house. So, you can really push the referrals on your card, like on the back as well. So I want you to have a few things. Now, Facebook, yeah, it would be really nice to have a Facebook page. It would be nice to have, YouTube and Instagram and that's, kind of, you don't look like you're not deficient as a business if you're not on YouTube and Instagram, but eventually I'd like you to have a Facebook page. So, but again, that's not something you have to have right away, but having a website, having a good phone number and business cards, that's kind of the infrastructure of your business. But it's an at-home business. You don't have to have an office or anything like that. So once you have some pieces in place like that, I want you to send this text out and send it out to, everybody you know. So how are you guys doing? Good morning, Jennifer. How are you today? Always great to see you on Monday, bright and early. And Jennifer Figueroa, great to see you here, showing up and commenting. Guys, remember, I don't know you're here if you don't say something. RingCentral just introduced an AI answering service that you customize. Okay, that sounds interesting. Guys, that may be the answer to paying an answering service, depending on the quality. Again, I mean, but they got pretty good quality nowadays. So that might work. I mean, I know there's companies like Pat Live and these companies that are answering services that will pick up your phone for you. They don't even do that good of a job, frankly. Over the years, I have not found them to be that reliable. The phone rings too much. Sometimes it goes into a voicemail. It picks up, but it's not even a live person. You think it's going to be live every time, but it picks up and says someone will be with you in a minute. That's even worse. So again, this might be a good answer here if they can get AI incorporated, and why not? I'm sure they probably can do that. Some cell phone providers allow you to have multiple lines on one phone. Yeah. So guys, just a different phone number I want that rings with a different tone. And that way, okay, that's a business call. That's someone calling me for business, and that's helpful. That's the way or we actually do have a separate phone. Yeah. Yeah, Jennifer. Okay, so we do have a separate phone, but that's because we use Acquisitionist. Now, if you use an Acquisitionist, you're going to want to give them the phone, but if they ever quit, they can just give you the phone. They'll give you the phone back. See, and so that way they don't get the business on their phone, which we don't want to have happen. We want it to be on our phone. And that way, if you work with an Acquisitionist, you might start thinking about having a phone that's actually like your business phone. But you guys can think about doing that strategy. Morning, Richard. Great to see you. Now, guys, go back if you just got here. Go back and listen to what I talked about, the infrastructure that I want you to have in place before you start sending this text out. Now, let me read you this text. So you're just going to set it out. It says, with everything going on, you can say, hi, Joe, or whatever you want to say as a greeting. Hey, hey, Joe, or whatever. With everything going on in the real estate market, comma, I've been a lot more active lately. Okay, that's the first line. With everything going on in the real estate market, comma, I've been a lot more active lately. And people have heard there's always something going on in the real estate market. So you can pretty much send that anytime. Okay, but there is stuff going on in the real estate market right now with rates and interest rates and everything. Then I want you to say, I've been a lot more active, with everything going on in the real estate market, comma, I've been a lot more active lately. If you send me a seller or buyer I help, I'll pay you $1,000. Okay, so that's the hook. That's what's in it for me. That's what we always think. Any marketing piece, you always think WIIFM, that radio station. I love that acronym. WIIFM. What's that stand for? What's in it for me? Okay, so any marketing should be the first message or primary message should be what's in it for them. Why are they even looking at this message? So if you send me a seller or buyer I help, I'll pay you $1,000. I put a comma after help there too. If you send me a seller or buyer I help, I'll pay you $1,000. Then sometimes you'll get people to send you leads off of that, but they might not be really clear about it, or they might worry that you're going to lowball them. That's the biggest worry, because they say, well, I would probably, send you, my cousin or my boss or somebody, but I'm assuming that you're probably going to give them 60% of what the house is worth, right? You're going to offer them a low offer because that's how investing works, right? And you're an investor. So that's why you got to put this third sentence in there. Okay. So you're going to say, I'm not a typical investor. I will usually capitalize the word investor, but that's just me. I'm not a typical investor, comma. I often pay full price. Full price. Now on full price, I actually put F, capital P. Okay. And then you sign off however you want. If you have a, excuse me. If you have a typical way that you like to sign off, but something like hope to hear from you soon is good. Hope to hear from you soon. Okay. So again, hey Joe, hey Mary, with everything going on in the real estate market, comma, I've been a lot more active lately, period. If you send me a seller or buyer I help, comma, I'll pay you $1,000. Okay. Then the last sentence, I'm not a typical investor, comma, I often pay full price. And yes, even though it's grammatically incorrect, I will capitalize full price just because I'm trying to draw attention to it, because how many investors are paying full price? In fact, those are probably the two most important words potentially in that text. So then you sign off, however, great seeing you last Tuesday. I mean, if this is somebody you see on a regular basis, you can have a nice thing at the beginning, looking forward to seeing you at work tomorrow or something like that. But remember, if you're sending this as a text blast, you have to leave it more generic. So then, you would just have the, hey, whatever their name is, and then the generic text and say, I often pay full price. Hope to hear from you soon is a good close for that if you're just having a generic close. All right. So that's the text I want you to send out to people. And you know what? It's surprising how many people know possibly, somebody looking to buy or sell. It depends on how many people you know. I mean, how many people do you know? How many people are on your phone? I mean, do you have thousands of contacts? And so that's sort of, if you send this text out to 6 people, you're not going to get as good results if you send it out to 60 people, but you may not get results either way. But the thing is, you're getting out there, but you will in the long term, because everybody will bump into somebody at some point who's looking to buy or sell a house. And if they remember you and you keep reminding them, or you send this text out to everybody right now, they'll know this. Then that'll get you some marketing traction. Okay. So let's see who else is saying stuff. Richard. Okay. Good morning. Okay. Hey, Charles. So go back, you guys, anybody who was not in the beginning, make sure you go back and watch in the beginning what I want you to get set up before you send this text out. Text to send. Hey, hello. With everything going on in the real estate market, I've been a lot more. Now, I will say I've been a lot more active lately, but I have been a lot more active lately. If you send me a seller or buyer help, I'll pay you $1,000. Now, I don't say referral fee. Don't say that, guys. I wouldn't say I'll pay you $1,000, because sometimes, depending on who you're sending that to, I don't know, that's a loaded term, referral fee. Some people can't take referral fees. Some people have issues with referral fees. Agents, real estate agents, and different people, might bring things up. You can't pay referral fees. You're doing something wrong. And so just don't use the word referral fee, but I'll pay you $1,000. Okay. I'll pay you $1,000. And then this is the last sentence. I'm not a typical investor. I often pay full price. Hope to talk with you soon. Perfect. Okay. So guys, that's the text. I want you to send that out to folks. Thank you so much, Jennifer. You're so sweet and so helpful all the time. And so I want you guys to get that out to folks once you're set up and ready to go. And that opens up the door. Here's the thing. A lot of times they might not know somebody right now, like I said, but that opens up the door. So they're kind of thinking, wait a minute. So $1,000, really? I mean, so maybe I'll kind of keep my eye out. And, all of a sudden they hear a conversation at work over by the water cooler where somebody's talking about their house, and they just say, wait a minute. And then they kind of wander over there and they listen for a little bit. Oh, so you're thinking about maybe listing your house? Oh, I know somebody who does that. You should talk to them. They pay full price a lot of times for houses. You should talk to them. And boom. So that's the thing. You're spreading your sphere of influence. So even if you don't get boom, boom, oh my gosh, I got 5 leads from this, you're planting seeds here. And hopefully the seeds, don't forget to water them. Don't forget to remind people. Don't just send the text out one time. I'd send the text out, again, or a modified version of it. I sent you this text, 6 months ago, and I just wanted to remind you. So here it is again, and so send it again. Now, you can actually, with some of these software programs like your RealFlow or a lot of these different ones have a CRM built in with an email feature where you can do what they call email autoresponder sequences. And so meaning every list that you get, so if everybody in your sphere of influence, everybody whose name and phone number and email you ever send to is in this computer in a list. And if you just press a button, an email will go out to everybody on that list. And you can set it up automatically where automatically every realtor gets an email from you once a month. That would be good. If you have a software program that does that, you should be keeping track of every realtor you ever talk to, their email and their phone number, and you should be sending them an email at least once a month saying, hey, I'd love it if you ever see any sellers who would be open to monthly payments. I'll pay full price and I'll pay your commission up front. Don't forget. But if you bump in any sellers open to monthly payments, I'm your person. Okay, that alone could get you a lot of deals if you start sending that same email to all of the realtors and all the realtors you meet. That is a great source because there's a lot of realtors now sweating because listings are not jumping off the shelves. I mean, listings are languishing. So there's a lot of motivated realtors trying to satisfy their sellers. And so you could be right in the right place at the right time. All of you guys should be working a realtor market, building realtor connections. Okay, so awesome. Yes, I'm not a typical investor. I often pay full price. Yes, so everybody, that's the text I like. Send that out and fire it out there. There you go. That's it. Okay, so that's your text that you send out. Text to everybody, and then you finish it with, I'm not a typical investor. I often pay full price. Hope to talk with you soon. Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. Hey, Caleb. Good morning. Great to see you. So a lot of great information this morning, a lot of good marketing information, a lot of good infrastructure, comments and information on that too. So really good, valuable stuff. Now, don't forget, we're still running our summer contest. So we're still taking submissions on those testimonials or any deals you're working on, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. Jennifer, you can type in our email. It's wolfcouple@gmail.com, wolfcouple with 2 F's. And so just shoot me an email. And remember, if you do shoot me an email, send me a text as well. If you send me a text to let me know that you sent me an email, because we get a lot of emails, obviously. And so I will then know to look for it and it won't get lost or go to spam. So that's the phone number you can text me at. And if you have some deal jumping off or something, I will almost never pick up that line live, but I will respond to text at that phone number. So, but you can always fire me off a text as well. So great, guys. Let's keep going this summer. We're about halfway through our summer, and August 30th, my best birthday present would be you doing deals. So yeah, I'd love to see that happen. So guys, what's our affirmation for today? Let's see. I love marketing. I love marketing. Okay, because we talked a lot about marketing today. So let's do it on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I love marketing. All right. I love marketing. I love marketing. All right. 3 deep breaths. Ready? Always a big smile. Remember, do this at least 3 times a day. It will invigorate you and get you back ready to work. Ready? Another one. Instead of a soda or a piece of candy, 3 deep breaths is much healthier and good for you. Another deep breath. I'm going to live to 99 like Dick Van Dyke. I saw a show on him and he talks about exercising and dancing. So I dance and I exercise. So that's good. So guys, let's have an awesome week. Stay in touch and let me know what's going on. And I will look forward to watching your success. Until I talk to you on Friday, keep expecting success, getting awesome training from the Wolf Couple, and taking action.